Hello again, guys. It's Oiro Cheer here, back with another what if. Sorry, guys, for not have been uploading. It's gonna be I don't know how many uploads. I'm gonna upload all the current what ifs that I'm doing. So, what if Naruto was banished from the Hidden Leaf Village, part 3 or 4? I'm not sure, but it should be part 3. Let's get into it. So we go to when Naruto is finishing up his talk with Kyoki about the upcoming war with the Hidden Leaf Village. Is Naruto and Kyoki are discussing about some war plans. Kyoki then decides to give Naruto some of the technology they have been working on. So as you know, like small countries advanced in technology and everything, so yeah. So as they're discussing, Kyoki then offered to give Naruto some weapons, which I'm not gonna say as of right now, but I'll reveal them by the time of the war, I think, which will be in this part. So as Naruto finished discussing with Kyoki, they then went for dinner, both of them alone. Naruto organized this. So Naruto and Kyoki were off to dinner. They then ordered from a friend, an Uzumaki restaurant, where they got some ramen. As ramen, like Uzumaki is like ramen, yeah. So they ordered some miso ramen, both of them with lots of pork, and they started to eat while they're chatting, getting to know each other more. So like I said, Naruto, the ship in this one is gonna be Naruto x Kyoki. Yeah. So Naruto and Kyoki were talking. They then finished eating, and then they went outside, and then like the sun was setting. So Naruto then took Kyoki and teleported the both of them to the top of a ledge where they could see the sun setting. So as they saw the sun setting, Naruto looked into Kyoki's eyes as Kyoki then looked into Naruto's eyes. It then felt as if a force was attracting both of them, and then they eventually shared a passionate kiss. So as the Naruto didn't really have to say anything, as Kyoki then just leaned into the kiss and deepened it. So after 5 minutes of making up, as they had to separate because of the lack of air, Naruto was not very happy, and then he asked Kyoki to be his fiance. I know I rushed it there, but Naruto is like is now old and mature, so Kyoki then accepted Naruto and put her engagement ring on her finger. So time skip a week after Naruto and Kyoki's discussion in the Leaf Village. Currently in the Leaf Village, the council and the current Hokage are busy scheming on how to win the war with the Hidden Tide Village. So as they're scheming, Lord Danzo decides to send some of his rich Anbu as civilians to go in and infiltrate the village and see what type of security they have, and if it has any weaknesses so it can be exploited. But annoying to them, Naruto as one of his summoning spying on them as the summon then relays the information to Naruto. Naruto is very astounded by this, decides to amp his security around his village. He amps it around 20 times more than the current security which is there. And he then puts his village into an immediate lockdown as though it was in a wartime. The same for Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa. So Iwa, as it really doesn't like Naruto, is gonna join in with the Hidden Leaf in an attempt to destroy them. But Kumo and Kiri and the sand are not gonna join, as they are like Naruto's allies. So time skip about 3 months, as tension between the hidden villages has now gone to the breaking point, as Naruto then decided to take it into his own hands, as he then took his most elite Anbu, including Minato and Kushina, were also there with them. His most elites, as he then decided to go to the Hidden Leaf Village. Time skip, Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto arrives at the gates of the Hidden Leaf Village, and then he uses an almighty push. As the gates drop and Naruto enters the village, Minato and Kushina are currently waiting to see what Naruto will do to the village they so precious, the village which they once loved. So Tsunade then comes out and says, Naruto, what are you doing here? this could be an act of war. Naruto then says, I already declared war on you a long time ago, and I've come to enact it. So Naruto is gonna do what Pain did, like, in the in the Naruto series. Is Naruto then floats up into the sky. Naruto then does an almighty push. So as the almighty push decides to this time it doesn't destroy the whole village, but like the red line districts and the clan compounds and everything, as those got destroyed, Naruto, Minato, and Kushina then immediately teleport themselves back to the hidden tide villages. The war had now begun. So it was much of a stalemate, as the hidden leaf had lost a crazy number of shinobi as Naruto had done in his attack, indirectly crippling the hidden leaf village, as they really didn't have no allies. So Naruto then sent a team of Anpu to go and assassinate the Fire Daimyo. So the Fire Daimyo is not gonna be related to Naruto in any sense. Like in canon, I think he was related to Naruto as I think he was Kushina's uncle or something. But no one really didn't know. So as the group of Anpu entered like the Daimyo's palace, as they get in, they then go to the Daimyo's quarters. So they then get like the technique where they use like a string and then they put poison where you take the poison into your own system. So then they did that to the daimyo and his family. After giving them poison, they then cleared out the daimyo's accounts and the title deeds and everything. They then took all of that and forged the signatures into Naruto's signature. So then put up a paper bomb and then teleported back to their village and then ignited the paper bomb, blowing up 3/4 of the palace. The royal guard then rushed in to see if the daimyo was okay, but they found the daimyo dead. As the daimyo was not dead, there was now a vacuum of power. So right now the land of fire is in chaos, as like the daimyo is not there to provide any income and all of his accounts have been cleared. So Naruto grins at the spoils he has got from the daimyo, all the title deeds and everything. As he has also managed to get his parents' accounts as well. As he then put them into his personal account. So in Naruto's personal account, he's rich enough to buy the whole elemental nation 6 times over. That's just how rich he is at the current state. So as the hidden leaf is in chaos, Naruto then decides to go to Iwa and provoke them to see if they're gonna doing anything. So currently in Iwa, Kurotsuchi is talking to Onoki, trying to stop him from doing something careless, like going after, shooting down Naruto's airships, with the Earth style, like those rock bombs and rock bomb something jutsu, like the explosion release, to not do and shoot down Naruto's airships. So Onoki's managed to get into Naruto's village and plant bombs on the airships, instinctively killing about 3,000 people. Naruto is very angered by this, decides to go to the stone village. As he goes to the stone village, Naruto then uses his speed as he cracks the barrier like a sonic boom. As Naruto goes in and smashes through the barrier, Onoki then jumps in front of him and says, so boy, you finally come. Now I'll kill you and take over that village of yours. That village was meant to be dead and never to be reborn, but you have brought it back again. You've done a pain into my side, and I'm finally gonna end the spawn of the 4th Hokage. So annoying to what's Onoki, Minato is right behind him. So Minato then says, Onoki, how can you say that to my son? As Onoki then turns to see the 4th Hokage. What? How? I thought you were dead. No, my son brought me back. As Minato then takes out the flying Raijin Kuna as Stone Village Shinobi then surround them as they go into their attack positions. Minato then spreads his Kuna and then he does the massacre as he did in canon, killing every shinobi except for around 5,000 stone shinobi left, which are a bit injured but not that injured. So Naruto then went and knocked them out. Naruto then declared Kuratsuchi as the Kage of the village, and Naruto then decided like to use his power like to rebuild a bit of the village, not like all of it, but a bit of the village. So Onoki is then taken to Naruto's village for trial. So as he goes to Naruto's village, the Uzumakis in Naruto's village like demand death, public execution for Onoki. So Onoki is right now cursing as he's like under the gallows. So the guy at the gallows then kicks the box away and Onoki then goes down dead. So Kurozuchi then asks for the body of her grandfather, as Naruto then gives her the privilege of going to bury the body of her grandfather in a proper place. So Naruto and Kurozuchi then have an agreement that Kurozuchi will not take part in the war at the Hidden Leaf Village. Right now in the Hidden Leaf Village, the Hidden Leaf Village is suffering, and Tsunade decides to step down as Hokage as Danzo then takes over the reins. So Danzo then starts his crusade of conquering the smaller villages and gathering resources to get the Hidden Leaf Village back on its feet. Danzo then manages to go and capture the six tails and four tail Jinchuriki as he then extracts them from their host and puts them in some of his root anbu, and using like the influence of the Sharingan, the Koto Matsukami, to keep them under control. So the Hidden Leaf village right now is gaining power. It's conquering the smaller villages around the Fire Nation. So as like the daimyo is now dead, Danzo then decides to take opportunity to seize like the whole Fire Nation for himself. He then declares like the whole Fire Nation is no longer under the control of the daimyos, which then shocks the other daimyos, but they're now really getting afraid. So they then decide to team up with Danzo as an attempt of getting their countries back into control. So like the daimyos need protection, right? So they need protection from the shinobis, and so the daimyos then decided like to side with Lord Danzo and give him an army of like civilians which will get trained enough so that they can take back and remove the current cages which are there, so that they can rule like their countries and be under one empire. Danzo's rule, as Danzo is using like the Koto Matsukami to manipulate them without them knowing. But apparently for Naruto has already seen through Danzo's plan, and he's just reading and says, oh wow, so if I can get this, I can create true peace. Naruto says to himself. So I don't really know if I involved the Akatsuki in this, but I'm gonna say like the Akatsuki is not really there. Like Nagato is Naruto's village. Let's say Naruto took down the Akatsuki, and the ones who were able to be saved, like Deidara, Sasori, they're like all them lot. They're in Naruto's village, just like Shinobi and Ando and all that stuff. Nagato and Conan eventually had some kids, which have the paper Genkai and not the Renegan, So for Obito, Naruto then revives Rin for Obito, and they then have some mature babies, that stuff, that important stuff. So time skip, the brink of war. So Naruto decides to take an army of around 2,000 Uzumakis and some airships as he decides to go to the battlefield. Lord Danzo then takes the 4 and 6 tails Jinchuriki as he then heads to the battlefield with them and uses an army behind him. So as the two leaders look into each other's eyes, the war begins as Naruto rushes at Danzo in an attempt to kick down Danzo and finish this before it gets really bloody. Danzo also has the same instincts and reps his Sharingan, getting gas from various people. As Danzo doesn't really care. As he then tries to put Naturo's tail, the Nitro's under his influence by using the Koto Matsukami. But apparently Naruto then activates his Rinnegan and does an almighty push, sending Danzo flying. Naruto then says universal pose. He pulls Danzo close to him and takes a chakra rod and slices the arm with the Sharingan off. Naruto then goes up to Danzo and pins his legs and his one remaining arm. Naruto then removes the Shishui's eye from Danzo's eye socket as Naruto then deactivates his Renegan as it goes into the Mangekyo and then he sees Amaterasu as he burns Danzo alive. The shinobi of the Eden Leaf village, seeing that their leader is dead at the current state, decide to elect Kakashi as the Hokage. It says Kakashi is now the Hokage, the war time ends. But unknown to them, a black entity named Black Zetsu is grinning madly as he had, found a pair of Rinnegan. So Black Zetsu, is the guy who was behind the scenes controlling the Akatsuki, manipulating everyone. So guys, I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna post the next part of What Not Was Kage-san right after this and the rest of my other what ifs. Thank you guys for all the support and peace out.